So, what happened in Shadowlands that actually matters to playing Dragonflight?
Nothing.
Well, the short answer is not very much right now.
Exactly.
But there's lots of stuff that it really couldn't hurt to know.
So Shadowlands, Ysera's back. There's that. And Anduin is on like some fucking like quest to rediscover himself. But besides that, yeah, nothing really.
Today's sponsor, Audible, the place to get your audiobook fix, especially if you're into Warcraft, which I think you might be. You can get War of the Ancients free. Try Audible free for 30 days at audible.com/Bellular or text Bellular to 500 500. War of the Ancients is a foundational Warcraft book. Tells the story of War of the Ancients,
I would have never guessed.
which is one of the most impactful events in the canon, and it's one that Dragonflight has got a very direct connection to. It was during that war that Neltharion betrayed his kin, almost annihilated the Blue Flight, sending Malygos half mad. Obviously, that led to the Nexus War and Wrath of the Lich King.
Yep.
I've had Audible for years, and with life being pretty busy, it's great to still be able to read in this way. It's great when I'm taking a walk, driving, leveling up in WoW. Everything that you get with the credits are yours forever, even if you cancel the subscription, which is just brilliant. So get your first audiobook credit for free.
I read a lot of those books whenever I was in like high school.
Bellular, or text Bellular to 500 500. The biggest revelation in Shadowlands was that these guys aren't actually demons. They're actually gargoyle-looking death spies for this guy. And then not actually that guy, but instead this guy, whose name...
Yeah, I thought it was really cool how they were trying to integrate the Dreadlords, but I feel like the way that it concluded was kind of, like, weird. It's like, you've had a plan for 30,000 years, and, like, then people find out about it, and in, like, one patch, like, all right, that's taken care of. Like, okay, never mind. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know, they just give up. Yeah, I mean, like, okay.
Name is Denathrius, but people tend to call
Damn,
him
they
Daddy
got us.
because they're all deviants. The good news is that he was actually pretty cool, and he'll be back, along with his intergalactic network of spies.
In my opinion, I think that they saw that Denathrius was really popular with the player base, and they just said, you know what, fuck it. We're going to just keep him in the game. But yeah, we're going to resurrect him again. We're going to take him out of the sword just so we can use him again.
Point. As for
Which
what
is
the deal
fine. I
is,
think that's
they
okay.
basically helped the Legion out so that this guy would die, and in the process of dying, blue screen this robot, sending everyone to Uber Hell so that this guy could get really strong, steal some keys from his family, and then take over Azeroth with a big universe computer thing that was somehow connected to Icecrown Citadel.
Which, by the way, I think was the only cool part about this, about Shadowlands lore. Is that, like, Torghast and Icecrown Citadel were all made as some gigantic conduit to siphon the life force out of Azeroth. Because it made sense, like, from, like, a logistical perspective, and, like, with the Forge of Souls and everything, like, the turbine, I thought that was so fucking badass. That was the only cool thing about the lore in the entire, like, whole raid.
Yeah. Importantly, Denathrius' lads also have spies in the realm of life, which they consider the most dangerous realm, and there's also this definitely a good guy from Legion, who might be a plant, making him a triple agent and a future plot device.
Yeah,
Next,
I'm curious what's going to happen with him.
The Titans weren't actually the creators of everything, but have kind of been trying to take credit. The universe seems to have been put together by a bunch of guys called the First Ones.
I feel like the people that created the world in Azeroth, that changes every patch. Like, I don't know if it's the Titans or the First Ones or, like, what. Like, I have no idea.
Who made everything with some weird song language and maybe ancient maths. Like if Tolkien's god had a protractor. Now, the Titans are all about order.
That's true, actually, yeah, because Iluvatar created life through, well, the flame imperishable and also through singing songs. It's a good point. I didn't think of that.
And that makes them not really good guys or bad guys. They're just one of the 6 or so factions that are vying to control the planet of Azeroth, who seems to not actually be a Titan, but maybe be more than a Titan. Maybe is the key to the whole universe. We're not sure why, and the whole thing kind of went over players' heads a bit, so Blizzard are going to tone all that back and focus more on the stuff that we actually care about at home.
I actually think that Shadowlands could have been totally fine if they just finished the story in a good way. It's just that the characters were partially developed. Like, the only character that really kind of made a lot of sense was Denathrius, but, like, he didn't make sense if the jailer didn't make sense. So, like, the Denathrius, like, why is Denathrius betraying everybody for something that nobody seems to understand? Yeah, the ending was really dumb.
Wizardry is just going to run in the background. Mostly. Maybe. Hopefully. Azeroth may not even be a Titan. It could be that whatever she would be would just be co-opted into being a Titan because Aman'Thul, maybe, who knows? Now, a small thing worth knowing is that the Naru got mad as hell at Daddy for sending his spies around the place, so they started a big fight with him, which basically proves that Light is up for a scrap in the big cosmic war.
Yeah, of course.
To recap, future expansion hints, that is, life is dangerous for some reason, and Light loves a good old war. The ultimate takeaway from Shadowlands, as it matters to the world itself, is basically there's a big storm coming, and it's beyond anything that we've ever seen. It's something that these first ones figured out would probably come to, I don't know, eat the universe.
I think that if you wanna lay the foundation for some cosmic level battle, so there's like a few examples of a cosmic level battle that really makes sense whenever it finally happens. So I think the first example you can use with WoW is like not really cosmic level, but it's like the Lich King. Because like the Lich King was built up over like years and years and years of story building. So like whenever you finally go up against the Lich King, it's like, okay, it's finally happening. It's the same thing as like Burning Crusade. Or the Burning Crusade, like Sargeras, like Kil'jaeden, Archimonde, fucking all these guys, right? Like, they were built up over years and years and years of games. So, like, whenever World of Warcraft Legion comes out, it's like, holy fuck, it's finally here. And I think the other example you can use is, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's like, the Infinity Stones were like the effectively MacGuffins of the beginning movies, but then it all came together with Infinity War. But like that was being built up for like 5 years. And like they consciously worked towards that. So it's not that you can't do this, it's that they haven't really put in enough effort for people to be expecting it to happen.
This idiot tried to deal with it, but we stopped him because he wanted to use Azeroth's World Soul to sort the problem out, and we would rather he didn't because we quite like living on Azeroth. So with him being dead, we're going to have to deal with it instead, but for now, we're just back in Azeroth chilling. I guess the big change is now that a weird robot isn't in charge of sending people to Turbo Hell anymore, but this dude is, who's kind of just the big softy.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll do a better job, or maybe he won't. Maybe we'll never hear from him again. We'll see.
I think we'll probably never hear from Pelagos again. Nobody gives a fuck about Pelagos. It was such a weird thing that, like, of all the different people, they were going to make Pelagos the Arbiter. In my opinion, I think that what the ending of Shadowlands should have been is that there is no Arbiter. Like, that, in my opinion, was... Like, I was expecting them to use, like, to go with a much more... like thought-provoking storyline where it's like this amorphous, like mystical, the purpose, like what does this really mean, and the discovery of something that's like not really there in the first place. It's always just kind of emptiness inside of more emptiness, and then the end of it would be like, okay, well, we're gonna move past the purpose and we're gonna have our own purpose now. Like, I think that would have been a better story than just appointing a new arbiter to make different decisions. It would have seemed more transcendent.
That's it for the actual lore that matters, but the interesting stuff going forward is with the cast of characters and what they went through. Tyrande basically had to take a big chill pill. She learned ultimately that an eye for an eye does in fact leave the whole world blind, but more importantly, holding on to revenge and anger kind of sucks, and focusing your energy on forgiveness so that you can
See, like, I thought this was stupid too, because like Sylvanas literally burned down her whole family, like everybody that she knew. She like killed everybody that was like in her entire race of people. So it kind of made sense that Tyrande was mad. Like, if I was Tyrande, I would also be mad.
move on is more productive. She also managed, with our help, to save a bunch of the elves who died in the big fire and went to the Turbo Hell. Not to bring them back to life, more to bring them back to the Night Elf hippie forest heaven where they can turn into animals and tend trees forever.
Wow.
Some of them were even turned into tortured abominations that we had to kill, so
that's
part
cute.
kinda sucked. Now, she also got possessed by Elune, who stopped her from killing Sylvanas and then spoke through her. So because of this, we found out that Elune is probably part of the gods of life, kind of like a Titan, but, you know, life instead of order. Elune basically...
I don't think that's what happened. Yeah, I don't think it's not very well established. Because Elune, so basically, the fucking Winter Queen said that Elune was her sister. So that would imply that Elune is also a robot. Because all of the other Eternals are robots, like Denathrius, the Primus, the Jailer, fucking, what's her name? Carathystra, the Firstborn. Yeah, they're all robots. So the Titans are robots? I don't think that's determined. Like, there's nothing that says that the Titans are robots. But, I don't think that Elune is like any sort of god of life. I think it would be, let me think of a way to put it. I don't even know. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense because, like, usually, like, whenever you have gods, like, with, like, for example, like, Denathrius is, like, almost like the god of, like, sin. You know, like, the Primus is, like, the god of, like, military strength and shit like that. So, I don't know, like, what would Elune be the god of? Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Because usually the way that, like, most mythologies create, like, a pantheon like this is that they have, like, different gods that are, like, antithetical to each other. You know, how you have, like, the god of, like, light and dark, or, like, the god of water and fire, stuff like that. So, I don't think that Elune is necessarily the goddess of life or anything like that. Elune's the moon god? That doesn't even make any sense, though, because, like, there's a million other planets. There's no moon in the Shadowlands. There's a million other planets besides Azeroth, but the moon is only in front of Azeroth. So, and also, the Night Elves call her that, and the Night Elves thought that she was just some other random god. So, like, it's just a reflection of what the people see her as and not actually what she is.
Said that she helped the souls of those who died at Teldrassil go to the Shadowlands, but then she didn't realize that actually they were all being funneled into Turbo Hell instead. Whoops. Night Elves...
I think it would have been a better story if Elune was the first Arbiter.
Really did get the profound middle finger from Blizzard, as their goddess is apparently a bit dumb, and Teldrassil, I guess, just sort of burned for no reason. We also got hints that Ysera isn't permadead. She's also got a redesign for the Dragonflight loading screens and this gorgeous wallpaper. So there you go.
Yeah, Ysera was really hot, so Blizzard brought her back. Like, they saw, like, all these ads for these games, and it's like, these games are fucking terrible, but they have a few really hot anime girls, and people play them. So Blizzard was like, okay, well, we can do that, sure. You know, big mom energy? Okay, there you go. Let's put it right into the game.
Sylvanas, then, is a tough nut to crack. To say it really quickly, she thought she had a good reason for being an unbelievable asshole for a very long time, but actually it turned out that the jailer was a big old liar to her and showed her some cherry-picked parts of how it was really shit to be dead in the Warcraft universe. She was also not entirely herself because actually it turns out the jailer had a whole part of her soul, and that kind of messed her up. Now she's kind of remorseful and repentant about the whole sending everyone to Turbo Hell thing.
The thing is, I just think that the Sylvanas story is so stupid. They should just have her there in the maw. Like, I thought that the best way they could have ended Shadowlands for Sylvanas is for them to make her the new Lich King. Like, that's what I thought they were gonna do. I think that would have been the best ending for her story arc.
Forever, so she's just going to spend the next while rescuing people who were put there by her for atonement. A decent start, but it's really not going to unburn all
Eternal
those elves or unkill Vol'jin. Anduin then went through a bit of an Arthas phase, though mostly because of the jailer's mind control and his fun philosophical chats with Sylvanas, instead of him actually making any form of hard choice. Either way, being a murderer did mess him up real hard, and now he's on a bit of a sabbatical. Maybe he secretly liked being a villain for a change, but whatever it is, he's just chilling in hell with Sylvanas doing some soul searching.
Yeah.
Certainly, Shipper...
Well, I don't think he's there with Sylvanas, is he? I thought he was just out doing whatever the fuck.
Of these characters are happy, but that's a bit weird.
They're married now?
Oh,
yeah.
So
okay.
I guess your Rathian Anduin ship stocks are down. Bolvar basically didn't do anything in the expansion, but he did apologize to his daughter for being an absent father because he was actually the Lich King.
I don't even think he was wrong for that. Like, I don't think Bolvar was in the wrong for, like, not wanting his daughter to know that he got turned into the Lich King. You know, like, I mean, of all of the Bolvar elves, that one's a really, really lowercase one.
For a bit, and now they're on good terms, but it's still a bit awkward. In the future, he'll be chilling out with the Knights of the Ebon Blade and his new horsemen, trying to work out all of the leftover scourge now that there's no Lich King, and also no jailer, which shouldn't be a big deal since most of the mindless ones were canonically called back to Icecrown and destroyed. Bane and Thrall were real MVPs for sure. Bane kept his specific piece of the floor warm for the entire of the expansion, and then Thrall threw an axe at Helya, who didn't show up again.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened to Helya. It's like the Primus was like, get out of here, bitch. And I never heard of her ever again. Like, is she dead? Did he just bitch slap her out of the maw? Like, I don't know what happened.
So that's those characters. Let's move on. After Shadowlands, we've canonically had a bit of a time skip. It's been a few years of lovely peace times between the Alliance and the Horde. Kinda boring, but actually good, because that room is sort of needed to breathe. And there have been a few neat developments. The Artisans Consortium has been set up so the professions can actually feel like real things in the world, and there's been a bit more of a focus on it.
I still think they should have done a 30 or a 50-year time skip. I think that would have been way cooler.
Exploring Azeroth rather than conquering it. The only real big event that there's been is an elf marriage. Two very old people who never had time for love now get to tie their knot, and like all weddings, it does get a bit weird. Despite spending all of Mists of Pandaria in a pub, Rathian has actually found out that he can't really hold his drink, because clearly that's when all of his daddy issues come out and he gets in a bit of a fight with people. Still, I was pretty pleased to know that Rathian is also a big wino. Now, Rathian kind of was off the hook. Everyone said it was fine.
Isn't Rathian like 9 years old in the lore and he's just getting drunk all the time? Like, I know obviously like he's a dragon and it's a different type of thing, but it is kind of funny.
You know, wino-driven fights are things that happen, but that's also especially because he fought a guy called Kurog Grim Totem, who was doing the Grim Totem special, being a shit-stirring bastard, because everyone with that surname has been a shit-stirring bastard. Another small but key thing is that without Anduin, Turalyon is still in charge of the Alliance and will be for a long time.
I don't know how that happened. How do you see somebody get their sword blocked by a dude's hand and say, yeah, this is the guy we want running our faction? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, you have Gen Greymane, who, I mean, like, listen, like, he finessed that, like, that thing away from Sylvanas. Like, Gen Greymane, in every single way, is more qualified to be the king than Turalyon is. Number one, Turalyon wasn't even around. Like, Turalyon has been gone for like 100 fucking years. He's been fighting for like 1,000 years on another planet. Like, who is this guy? He just randomly shows up and now he's in charge of everything. Why? Because he's got a unique custom model and a cool set of armor. Like, yeah, it's like Greymane's a dog. Yeah, but like they don't need that. Who gives a fuck, right? I mean, Turalyon's a bitch. So you could say they're the same thing. Listen, like you could have him, you could have Magni. I thought Magni was pretty cool. What about like Muradin? Muradin was fucking badass. You could have Tyrande. Tyrande would be a good leader of the Alliance. She's actually powerful and, you know, can do something. And let's see, who else besides that? Fuck. No, not really Khadgar. I don't think Khadgar would be there. Jaina, Malfurion? No, Malfurion just peaced out. He said, fuck that. Jaina? Yeah, maybe Jaina or something like that. That would make sense. No, not Bolvar. Please, not Bolvar. Illidan? Bro, I said that before. Illidan is literally fucking squaring up against a Titan, right? Probably him and Sargeras are talking shit to each other. But I said before, like, if Tyrande had dated Illidan instead of Malfurion, that tree would not have burned down. That's a fact. And like, the thing is, everybody always likes to talk about how powerful Malfurion is, but how did the tree burn down if he's so powerful? But at the same time, everybody knows for a fact Illidan would have never let that shit happen.
Absolutely nothing can go wrong with that whatsoever. But I will know, Blizzard had been setting up Turalyon for really just being a big warhawk, but it does seem that in some recent stuff, they've kind of toned him down. So who knows? But I'm pretty sure that SI7 are still going to be, like, monitoring the dragons. So, I mean, yeah, he's still...
I feel like this is a plot device that won't matter. Like, all of this dialogue and all of these text lines will amount to basically nothing in the storyline.
Does have the special sort of Secret Service doing something. Who knows? The actual expansion lead-in itself is pretty simple. This fella, Kharanos, woke up because Azeroth is finally healing after all the shit she's been through, and he turned on the big lighthouse that calls the dragons home. The dragons went home, and then they found out that weird stuff is going on. Like them finding out an entire race of dragon experiments that Deathwing made back when he was kind of reasonable existed but had been locked away and are there somehow. And then that Grim Totem asshole from that wedding earlier on that Rathian...
I'm gonna be honest, this is the first time I realized there was actually Kurog Grim Totem who let out Razageth. Like, I actually had no idea. I never put those together until I just saw him right there and Belur said his name. I had no clue.
A wine-driven brawl with. Yeah, he actually freed Razageth, who's this very large dragon lady who really does not like the Titans whatsoever. She was actually the reason the Deathwing gave in to old god corruption, revealing a huge ancient war between our kind of dragon and this element.
But it's like, how did the N'Zoth or whichever old god it was, how did he just fucking Dyson the dragon up and like now she's in jail? Like, cause she said Alexstrasza put her in jail. How did this happen? Yeah, why does she blame Alexstrasza for sealing her away? Like, what the fuck? How did this happen? Like, it had nothing to do with her. And like, why did Alexstrasza like not say like, bitch, what are you talking about? I didn't even do that. There was like this tentacle guy. We killed him. He's done. We're good.
Kind of dragon.
Doesn't make any sense.
And blowing entirely open our idea of what should have happened in Azeroth's long ago history that we don't really know about. Just after this went down, Rathian and Abyssian asked the Alliance and the Horde to come and check out their cool new island. And that means a fun expedition instead of a big military expedition, but once we land there, we will have to deal with all the weird shit that's been going down and the way that the island is waking back up, especially with Razageth and her dissident primalist crew threatening the world.
And it's like, also on top of that, like, why did none of the other dragon aspects come to help Deathwing? Or Neltharion? Like, why? Because, like, why does he have to deal with this all on his own? Like, there's 4 of them. 4 other ones, like, where were they? Deathwing, get the help of the old gods to get rid of Razageth? Who's on the old god side? I don't know. Like, they were straight chilling. Yeah, it's so dumb, man.
Okay, that, more or less, is you caught up. Anduin is gone for a bit. The future looks rough, but we'll sort that out later. A few elves got married, and the dragons are throwing a very bizarre housewarming that actually involves a ton of old family drama that we get to be stuck in the middle of.
Yeah, it's about right.
Clearly a lot more to get into, so if you are interested, check out our lore videos from Shadowlands. Perhaps you can listen to a few hours of our lore walking podcast and our big dragon series. In fact, check out this video next if you want to dive into that sweet, sweet lore. See you next time.
That was a good video. I'm glad I think he covered pretty much everything that mattered. I'm trying to think if there's anything that he missed out on, but I don't really think so. Check back in game. Okay, there's the video right there. It's a Valuer video. We've watched a million of these, so make sure to give it a like and make sure you're subscribed. What is... Wait, what the What the fuck? What the fuck is... What the hell are y'all doing? Y'all just pushed me into a random cave. Why am I in a cave? How did I get in this cave? I don't even... I gotta get out of here. I got pushed off a random cave. What is this? Here, get me the fuck out. What the fuck? Get me out of this shit. How'd I get put in a goddamn cave? Some commitment? Wait, where the hell is this? Is this the beginning of the dwarf zone? I think it is. Frostmane Hovel? Wait, how the... Oh my god! I got moved all the way from... Holy shit! Oh. No, now it makes sense. We were busy. I see that, guys. That's great. Back in the cave? I'm kidnapped, apparently, yeah. Get back in the cave. Oh my god. Okay. Holy fuck. Okay. Deborah, that's a good one. Alright, this is your home. Apparently it is. Alright, guys. Well, have at it. Fucking have at it. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and look at the rest of this shit, alright? Give me 1 minute. And activate your star, throw it away. I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look and see for myself. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I was really glad to see this video because this is a pretty good synopsis. I think for anybody who didn't play Shadowlands, this pretty much covers, like, basically it deleted Sylvanas and added Ysera back into the game. Another basically pointless thing that happened that really caused nothing to happen at all. Like, that's really all there is to it, yeah.